White women are culture appropriating corporate and working hard and hustling and grinding. Every white girl is like, oh my god, I can't do this. I'm not meant to do this. I'm meant to be at a home. We're meant to be picking berries, picking twigs. Oh. And it's like, girl, get out of my house. Get out of my house. We have work to do. And y'all are holding us back with your wishy-washy ways. Get in or get out. Today I want to talk about girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep. A lot has happened in the corporate community, in the working class community, the working woman class community. If you've been watching TikTok, there have been some controversial girl bosses that have come and gone in the stratosphere of our culture in the past couple of years. And I think that's so interesting because each time someone is identified, they're kind of hyped up for a while. I think they bring an element of, they bring something new, right? Because they have to bring something new in order to be, talked about and hyped up. But they typically always fall for the same sort of typical toxic girl boss, gatekeep, gaslight behavior. And the cutting room floor, she recently went viral. And a lot of people were talking about her tone specifically, right? What I saw non-black people were really focused on was her tone. They were very much focused on her attitude, her vibe, her tone. And I was just like, that's so interesting. I think, in my opinion, they would work for that pay, but they're thinking that it's outrageous that you would work for that pay and have that tone, right? And be disrespectful. Because for white people, when you're entering these very niche, I don't know, these boutique corporate spaces, I'm thinking a boutique PR firm, a boutique fashion firm, a boutique consultancy firm, something very small, independently run. What if this was run by a white woman, or it's giving, hi, how are you? Oh my god, very upbeat, probably that's the branding, that's the vibe, very much oh, we're a girl's girl, we're here for one another, we're supportive, that's the so even though you're not getting that economic nourishment, it's lubricated. Sorry, I don't know any other word. It's lubricated by the fact that you're getting this smile on your face. You're getting this, pat on the back. You're maybe getting hyped up. You're probably, oh my god, you're doing such a great job. We love it. Oh my god. So much of that extra fluff that's really, I guess, shielding you from really seeing the job for what it really is. I think girl boss is along the lines of being incredibly rude, condescending, even just being very you, being stern. I think that's girl boss as well, but some people can consider that condescending, authoritative. And I think that's so interesting because wanting to be quick with your comebacks, quick with the way that you speak, no ums, no uhs, no spaces, very minor inflections, very much trained, okay? Navy SEAL, you were built for this. Remember that communication style and that authoritative way of speaking being so attractive to me as a young black girl. I grew up, feeling very fascinated by the suburban black girls, upper echelon, maybe wealthier, upper middle class black girl who, Olivia Pope, strict, authoritative, and that being seen as iconic. I grew up wanting to be Olivia Pope, and I feel that's the black womanhood, girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep experience. You know what I mean? Or part of it. Let me not, wholly take over it, but I feel it's part of it. She is not to be messed with. She is not to be effed with. She says what she means, and she's setting her boundaries, and it's working out for her. Key part on, it's working out for her. It's working out for her because Shonda Rhimes was writing that. So Olivia Pope could say whatever she wanted, and the retaliation was predictable, right? Like, it was like, yes, she did face retaliation, but it was like, we knew she was going to handle it. I feel as though the white girl boss is a newer image. It's really what has been existing in like the like mainstream media, like pop culture, but like the black girl boss has always existed, right? Like the black girl boss has been existing since like forever. I'm thinking living single, I'm thinking girlfriends. Like those were hustling women, like each and every single one of them like had a job, had multiple jobs, was like doing something to like get money and like pay their bills. And it was like money was talked about, paying bills was talked about, the struggle, the hustle was talked about by each and every single one of them. Whereas I feel as though when you think about like white women in sitcoms or like white women in Hollywood, like money was very much like not like, I feel like it was talked about, but it was like it was just kind of assumed that you had it. Like the white girls had it. They just had it. Mommy, somebody had it. Somebody. They didn't really talk about it too much. I'm thinking about like all the like, you know, early rom-coms with women having like fashion jobs and like, you know, being like working in marketing, working in communication. Okay, like how are you making money? How are you living in this gorgeous apartment? How are you paying for this? Not very much talked about. With Sex in the City, you have each and every single one of them like thought about money differently and viewed money differently and thought about working very differently. Whereas I feel like for black women, we have always been on the same page. So like it was an anomaly to be a black girl who didn't have to hustle. It was an anomaly to be a black girl who didn't have to, you know, who had mommy and daddy support. Like that was like a big, I feel like it was a taboo. It was joked about. It was like something looked down upon in the black community, at least in Hollywood. I feel like Martin would bring it up against Sheena and be like, well, you have all the things that you have because of, you know, your parents and all this stuff. And he would kind of undermine her that way. And I feel like white women stole our whole flow. I think in the last 15 years, there's been a huge push for women in STEM, women in business, women everywhere, women in all of the fields, right? Like we want to stop having these male saturated fields, be so male saturated. We want to like have a presence. And now they're trying to throw it back in our faces. Who's with me? Who's with me? I feel like they're trying to throw it back in our faces. Like when it's convenient for them. Like I feel as though they're sick and tired of it. Like it was a trend for them. Hustling was a trend. You know, it was a cute little thing. Now they're going back to their, you know, white privilege and their husbands. Over 300,000 plus black women have lost their jobs over this past summer. Recent switch up of our administration. This time around, policy changes that he's sort of made in recent months, well, this year, that are really impacting black women and the black woman labor force. It's been causing a lot of shakeups, and a lot of people we've been seeing a lot of people abandoning their support for the black girl boss. I feel as though black women are constantly, we're either like, you know, lifting us high up in the sky, you know, where there's no fucking oxygen and we can't breathe, but they're like so happy for us and like, you know, hyping us up, but it's also high as fuck. Like, damn, get me down. Get me down. Get me down. I'm a human being just like you. I'm figuring out just like you. Or they're like kind of just stomping on us. Yeah, I feel like we're missing that like human component in the critiquing of, I mean, anytime we critique women, we're missing the human component, right? Like we go from 0 to 100 when we're critiquing a woman, and there's very little grace. But I think for black women, it can lead to repercussions for black women that white women would never ever experience. Like I feel like a white woman could bounce back from a girl boss accusation, but it's very difficult for a black woman to bounce back from a girl boss accusation. You know what I mean? Like when you hear people talk about black women in the work, it's like, oh, she's so kind, she's the nicest person ever. And it's like, yes, we love that, but it's also like, she has no choice. She has no choice. Like, let there be an inkling that she's disrespectful. Let there be. In fact, Beyonce is a good example. Someone who I think is probably just like, she's flexible, but she's also stern. And even just like the rumors that people will come up with, or just like the dirt that people are looking for when it comes to her, is so interesting because she shows us. I feel as though people like to frame her success as something that's super like manipulative and like, ooh, the Illuminati, like something so myth. And it is 100% the psychosis of racism, if I may say. The psychosis of racism. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. That's my little podcast about the black girl. I don't even know what to call this, y'all. Someone give me a good caption. I don't know. But I'm just going to end it here. I'm going to end the podcast here. I don't really have much else to say other than DEI never really benefited black women, if we can be honest. Okay? It really, truly benefited white women the most. And then now they're like abandoning us themselves. And we're kind of all just watching it. Okay, that's it. Bye. Thank you for listening. Oh my god. I actually had fun filming this. Well, recording this. Okay. Bye.